Hello everyone, welcome back to another marvelous video. Today, we have something interesting for all of those who love legends. We're gonna take a look at a creature that all visitors to the Himalayas have been fascinated by. Some have even gone on expeditions and spent their lives trying to find this mythical monster. The creature is also commonly referred to as the Abominable Snowman. If you've not already guessed what it is with all this information, let me reveal it to you. In this video, we'll explore a legendary creature from the snowy wilderness, the Yeti. So sit back and enjoy as we dive in. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, let's begin. Tracing the origins of the Yeti. The Yeti is a creature that has an ape-like appearance and is said to be found in the Himalayas in Asia. The creature is also referred to as the Abominable Snowman in Western popular culture. This creature is a very popular cryptid, whose legends are rooted in Tibetan mythology and folklore. The Yeti became popular among people in the early 20th century when a team from the British Mount Everest reconnaissance came back from their trip with tales. In an interview with journalist Henry Newman, these men told stories of coming across big footprints in the snow. They initially concluded that it was a wolf, but they heard tales of the legendary creature known as the Meadow Kangmi from the locals. This word translates to a human-like bear of the snow. However, because of a mistranslation of meto as filthy, it was substituted for abominable. Popular culture often portrays these creatures as vicious beings devoid of religious relevance, but that's not always the case. Let's take a look at the Yeti from Tibetan culture. The genesis of this creature is rooted in a pre-Buddhist religion, Bon. The people from this religion believed in a hunting god, who they thought was the ruler of all the forest creatures. The god, who was known as the glacier being, then eventually came to be known as the Yeti. The word Yeti comes from the Sherpa dialect, meaning cliff-dwelling bear. The Sherpas recognized two types of Yetis. One was the livestock bear, the Dzute, and the other was the human bear, the Mite. The livestock bear was the larger species. It preyed on livestock and walked on all fours. The human bear was smaller and it was bipedal. Biologist Charles Stoner believed that the Dzute was the Himalayan redbeard. Sherpas insist that the Mite Yeti is not a bear, but its own unique species. It is this Yeti that appears in their adornments in Buddhist temples. The images of the Yeti in Tibetan culture describes it as more ape-like than bear-like. In Tibetan culture, Yetis are divided into four types with different roles. Some are peaceful, while others are more aggressive. The first type are human allies, known for their protective nature and role as guardians of the wild. Buddhist Yetis are deeply spiritual, often seen as temple attendants or followers of Buddhist masters. Friendly Yetis share traits of both protectors and spiritual guides. Then there are mountain deity Yetis, which are more aggressive, but still uphold important roles in religious traditions. In some Tibetan folklore, Yetis are often considered guardian spirits in the Himalayas, as these mountains are sacred in their culture. The Yetis guard these from harm. They also symbolize the wild and untamed nature of the wilderness in high altitudes. The idea of the Yeti carries the thought that there are still mysteries that are unexplored within the natural world. When a person comes across a Yeti, it is seen as a test of their resilience and courage, and those who survive these encounters are blessed with wisdom and strength. Some look at the Yeti as a link between the spiritual and physical realms. Accounts of sightings and expeditions. An early record of a Yeti happened in 1899 in Among the Himalayas by Lawrence Waddell. This reported footprints of the creature and discussed the guy's description of an ape-like creature who left prints. Around 2 decades after the popularization of the term Abominable Snowman, 2 hikers claimed that they saw 2 black specks moving around in the Himalayan snow. In 1951, during a British expedition, climbers Eric Shipton and Michael Ward saw tracks that led up to an elevation well, which had claw marks. There are pictures of large footprints taken by Shipton that became icons. This is what piqued interest in the West. In the late 1950s, actor James Stewart brought a finger from a mummified hand of a Yeti for his friend Tom Slick by wrapping it in his wife's underwear. He got it from Peter Byrne, who acquired the finger from a Buddhist monastery in the village of Pangboche. He had to pay a significant fee for the finger, and give them a replacement human finger too. In 1954, during the Daily Mail Snowman expedition, John Jackson took pictures of symbolic paintings of the creature. He also took many pictures of footprints in the snow. These were attributed to erosion and wind flattening the original footprint. In the same year, the Daily Mail reported expedition teams obtaining hair samples from an alleged Yeti scalp that was found in the Pangboche monastery. However, the study concluded that the hair was not from a scalp. Soon, Yeti expeditions became a thing. In 1956, a memo was issued by the U.S. Embassy in Kathmandu about the Yeti hunters who came to the Himalayas. There were regulations made for these expeditions. A payment of 5,000 rupees was supposed supposed to be made to the government for a search permit. The second rule was that it could only be photographed and not harmed, except in cases of emergency. All photographs taken also had to be submitted to the government. The Yetis brought in a lot of tourism and business to Japan. In northeast Nepal, a monastery in a small village claims that they have a 300-year-old Yeti scalp. The scalp was carried across the globe to be inspected by experts by Sir Edmund Hillary. However, it didn't pass their inspection. The relic currently can be found in a cabinet in a temple in the village of Kumjung. This relic was found by Hillary and Desmond Dewing, a journalist in 1960. The two found it when they were on an expedition to find the creature. Myth or reality? All the Yeti lovers got some disappointing news just a few years ago. In 2016, Icon Films approached Charlotte Lindquist and her team to take a look at Yeti samples. The crew was working on a documentary about this creature. They used DNA sequencing to take a look at the samples, and they discovered that they came from Himalayan bears. The paw that they had in the monastery was that of a black bear. Another bone that they had was from a Tibetan brown bear. The tooth that they had kept was from an animal that belonged to the dog family. From their findings, it was clear that the biological evidence related to the Yetis could be found in the local bears. This is not the only study that had discredited the story of the Yeti. In 2014, when a genetic analysis of 30 hairs assumed to be that of a Yeti was done, they all turned out to be hairs of animals like polar bears, dogs, or other bears. Almost all the evidence for the existence of the Yeti has been met with skepticism from experts. Many scientists argue that these footprints can just be attributed to the animals that we know, like the bear, for example. The hair samples collected seem to belong to other animals, and pictures are often disregarded as misidentifications. It's quite possible that the many sightings of these creatures by believers are a hoax. A look at the appearance of the Yeti. The popular cryptid is said to be a really large bipedal creature. It's said to have an ape-like appearance, even though there are comparisons to local bears. The creature is said to be covered in hair and is either white, gray, or brown. Tibetan folklore describes 3 different kinds of Yetis based on the way they look. The first is the Chuti. This Yeti is around 8 feet tall, and it lives around 8,000 and 10,000 feet above sea level. The second type is called the Nyalmo. These have black fur and are extremely fierce and large. They're around 15 feet tall. The third type is called the Rangshim Bombo. They have reddish-brown fur and are not as huge as the other two. They're around 3 to 5 feet tall. As we've already seen, the Yeti can walk on 2 legs like a human. This is why many Tibetan names of the creature translate to man-bear or human-like. Different accounts of Yetis tell us that they have large feet and leave huge footprints. They're also said to have very sharp teeth. It also has a very robust build and shaggy fur, which protects it from the cold. The Yeti in popular culture. The Yeti is a creature that has been used by popular culture for many years now. They've been portrayed in comic books, TV shows, and movies. Movies like Abominable and Yeti, the giant of the 20th century, have helped popularize these characters. Many documents and reality TV shows have tried to prove that these creatures exist. Even the popular comic book Tintin in Tibet has this creature make an appearance. The Yeti in this episode has a pointy head, and it's also a friendly Yeti. The cartoon Abominable Snowman portrays a Yeti that has been painted white and is extremely friendly. The Yeti has also been a part of the shows like Doctor Who, Scooby-Doo, and G.I. Joe. In Doctor Who, there are multiple robotic Yeti who are the servants of the Great Intelligence. In 1980, an adaptation of the creature also came up in one of the most popular franchises, Star Wars, in Empire Strikes Back. It's called the Wampa, and it is very similar to a Yeti, but it had horns. The character also makes a cameo in a popular Pixar movie, Monsters, Inc. Here, our main characters are basically stranded in the Himalayas, and they are rescued by a friendly version of the Abominable Snowman. Many video games were also crazy about the creature, incorporating it in games like Urban Yeti, Warcraft, Zelda, Twilight Princess, and so on. The humanistic side of the Yeti is explored by cartoonist Nick Selleck in his series The Award Yeti. This shows the creature dealing with personal issues, like dealing with anxiety and eating properly. This mysterious creature has found a place in popular culture today. There are different versions of it everywhere. It's gone from being a terrifying beast from the wilderness to a popular icon in pop culture. Marvelous verdict. Well, with that, guys, we've come to the end of yet another video. There are many creatures that are similar to these cryptids in other cultures. Every continent basically has its own version of the Yeti. What other creatures have you come across that resemble the Yeti? Do you think that the Yeti is a mythical creature, or do you believe that it exists somewhere out there? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want more like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.